Good morning. What's up, man? John, what you been up to?
Not much, not much. I'm glad to be back. We've been busy, but other than that, we've been good.
What did you do for the past week? What have you been? What did you do? Yesterday I was at Rehoboth Beach.
You went to Rehoboth?
Yeah, well, at Rehoboth Beach and having some fun. And we're there up to almost 4 hours.
What kind of fun we're talking about?
Oh, just sit on the beach and see people move and pass by. And my granddaughter was in the water swimming and stuff like that. So basically, we're on the beach and having fun. You know, what we plan to do is maybe next week we will go there and stay there on Thursday. We'll rent a room, then we'll come back on Friday evening. Yes.
Just go to Ocean City. It's better.
What?
OC, Maryland, better beach.
Yeah. I know Ocean City, Maryland is better, but we want to stay local. We want to stay local.
Local. Ocean City is local.
Yeah,
it's only a like a 10-minute more drive.
Yeah.
Down the street, so from Rehoboth, so you can't go wrong.
Yeah, so it's good. Okay, man, look, today we're going to be discussing Cuba. I told you that the protests in Cuba, or the people that are protesting in Cuba, I understand their frustration. But I can say the protest has been organized and engineered by outside forces. And some of the outside forces that engineered the protests in Cuba, to be very blunt and frank with you, is the United States. The United States has long been undermining the people of Cuba since 1959, when Fidel Castro came to power. You remember they had a Pig Bay or something, something like that. They went there and they supported subversive activities in Cuba. They failed. They tried on many occasions, multiple occasions.
You mean during the Cold War?
Whatsoever time the United States has supported subversive activities in Cuba. And let me just sum us out a little bit. We talked about Haiti the last time, right? Mm-hmm. You know that some of the guys from Colombia, who participated in the killing of the president of Haiti, were trained by the United States government.
We train a lot of people.
So the United States of America doesn't have any moral attitude, doesn't have any moral character from whatsoever capacity or dimension you can look at it to say that it's supporting people to protest for democracy in Cuba, because they have been engineering way back time immemorial. I can go down the list of the amount of governments that the United States have undermined, even Gaddafi in Africa. Gaddafi, the protest that led to Gaddafi's death was engineered by the United States. The guy who is the rebel leader one of the rebel leaders in Libya was living in the United States. He was funded by the United States government. And he went back to Libya with the United States backing, and they overthrew the government of Libya. Now, Libya is in total chaos. Okay. So then we look at Cuba right here, right? I agree that Cuba needs democracy, but I don't think that America have the moral attitude or latitude to call for democracy in Cuba.
Okay. Coming out the gate swinging. Okay, I like that. I like that.
I'm telling you.
There you go. Finally let it out. Let you really feel.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm telling you.
So okay, let's get back to the Haiti situation. You said to do to Colombia, we trained those people and they went there and all that. You think we set that up?
No. I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying we trained a lot of people around the world. All right, we do that regardless. And don't want to call one.
Yeah, we just said.
So we train a lot of people around the world, and all that, and they use the training. If they use it for good or bad, that's on them. But I mean, a lot of times we train them, and it comes out bad, like how we did to ISIS. We train ISIS to take on the Taliban, and they turn around and go against us. So, like I said, we do pros and cons for that. Back to Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason is the people are protesting. They're tired of the communist regime and everything else. They want their freedom. They want everything else. right? They want their voices to be heard.
Democracy is failing the people.
How do you mean failing?
It's failing the people in the sense that, look, we have democracy here. I'm going to come to January 6th. We have democracy. We have elections. People start criticizing the elections and they mobilize and motivated criminal-minded people to go and attack the Capitol building. That democracy is failing the people. Unless we can change our attitude.
I mean, just the thing with that, you keep going back to January 6th type of deal. See, the reason is people protest because the whole thing is Biden's not legitimate. President. He's president, sworn in as president. He's sworn as president. But a lot of people feel like he's not legitimate. So the difference between the left and the right is this. The left always said with Trump, he's not my president, not my president. Technically, he is.
He is, no.
But Biden, you don't hear from the right, he's not my president. No, he's our president, but he's not legitimate. That's the difference. We accept him, he's in office, he's sworn in, but we think he's not legitimate president. That's the difference. So the people feel like he's not legitimate, he's not rightfully elected to do the job. And that's why people felt like that, protests and everything else, and the voice not being heard, and it got out of hand, right? So you telling me the insurrection happened unarmed in the country with the most firearms ever, and the right's nothing but, gun-ho rednecks, they all claim us to be, right? Mm-hmm. Went there majority unarmed with firearms and took over less than an hour. All it was is a protest that turned to a riot situation, got out of hand.
Yeah, I agree.
But you had cops letting people in and everything into the whole thing got shit out of luck. But get back to Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba.
Okay. See, the people's voices are not being heard, and they're tired of it. People are leaving Cuba. No. People leaving Cuba to come here for a better life. They're literally
because of the censure. Because of the censure.
Wait, listen.
Because of the censure.
What
America has undermined Cuba and many other governments around the world.
Due to that is a national security threat back in the day during the Cold War because of Russia and Cuba. And Cuba was on our back doorstep. Russia's going to put missiles at Cuba pointing to the U.S. So what do you think America had to do back then? Come on. I mean, I understand.
No, I understand.
But the thing is, though, is this. Okay? You think it's us doing something about it. The internet's been shut down. People are disappearing. Reporters are being arrested and being missing or killed. We don't know what. We're a blind eye there because Cuba government shut it down of everything else due to, let's say, misinformation.
Let me tell you one thing, right?
But people want to protest and they want their freedom. So their catalyze is this. This is how much the hypocrites are in our politics. We open the southern border, people come on through, right? With Cuba, it's going through this legit seek asylum because they're basically being oppressed, they're being imprisoned, false imprisonment, getting killed, and all that for their beliefs, what they want and everything else. That's 100% qualified as asylum, right? Uh-huh. That's enough to get into the country. And our government, Biden administration said, do not come. If you can cross that border, you will not be welcome. But yet we open the southern border for everyone else.
But those are some of the contradictions in the United States foreign policy. The first thing here is Biden have imposed sanctions on Cuba, right? You impose sanctions on Cuba. What do you expect? You expect the government, is the government going to get the resources from? Where the government going to get? You say people are suffering, they're leaving Cuba to flee to the United States and other places because you have strangulated the Cuban economy. As a result, the Cuban government is unable to provide for the basic services. So you use the sanctions against the Cuban government to make the people to rise up against the Cuban government, which of course is entirely wrong. The thing is,
what do you mean they got the best? What do you mean they got the best literacy rate according to Bernie Sanders, best health care?
They do. They really do.
What do you mean?
Okay. They get some of the best doctors in the world. They send doctors all over the country.
The best literacy rate is simple. If you all read the manifesto, if you've been trained to read that one book, then you got 100% literacy rate.
No.
That's the difference.
I think you are just saying.
No, I'm just saying basic things.
No, you listen to the government. You listen to the government side of the story. You listen to.
We never listen to the government.
No, you listen to media propaganda, and so as a result, you believe everything they say.
The media is saying it's due to COVID. The people there are protesting. Cubans, American Cubans are out there protesting in states saying, free our people. It's not due to COVID.
So what is freedom? What do they want? Freedom? What? Let's define freedom, because initially I tell you that democracy is failing the people. We have freedom in the United States, freedom in Germany, all over the places that we have freedom. These governments have done things, spying on their own citizens, politicians getting so corrupt, people not getting the basic services they need because of the democracy we say we're practicing. But this Cuba is providing almost everything for the people to get. I'm not trying to preach that we need to get communist system, but if you look at it, that the democracy we're fighting for right now is not delivering. It's not delivering. Let's look at my country, Liberia. Let's look at many African countries. They talk about democracy, democracy, democracy. You have elections. You have elections and you bring people in power who squander the resources, no electricity, bad road conditions.
Accountable.
So the democracy.
But you can't rely on Communist Party either, because you know why? They take away your resources and use it for something else, and therefore you get less than that. But don't worry though. Everyone gets a toothbrush. Everyone gets a toothpaste. Everyone gets a bar of soap. You get that once a month. Communism. While the filthy rich communisms live like kings and everything else. So what's the difference?
No, there's no difference. But the point I try to make is for Biden to say they want to impose sanctions on Cuba, because Cuba.
No, he wants to lift them. He wants to lift the sanctions off of Cuba. He wants to stop. He wants to stop the embargo and stuff. They want to get rid of it.
But then that would be a good thing. I think you are it would be a good thing because
it'd be good. Know why? It'd be good for North Korea. Because know why? Because they got caught a couple years back of shipping, what was it? Some type of food to Cuba, and they went through the canal, and canal checked the ship and everything else, and within the hull were like anti-ship, anti-air, anti-missiles that North Korea was selling to Cuba.
Well,
or correction, it might be the other way around. Cuba was selling to
North Korea.
North Korea, I think. I got to double check. It's been years ago. But either way, the ship was checked, and turns out they were trying to sell it to either country and all that. That's the point of embargo, trying to do that,
But
prevent.
But here's another point.
But now you want to lift that up and open doors for Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba to put missiles there aimed towards the United States.
But the United States need to be engaging with Cuba. They need to be engaging with Cuba so that they can get ways to help the Cuban government.
We do.
No.
Wait, no. We had Obama. We had Obama do it. You got Bernie Sanders supporting and say they got the best government ever. Let's do
it. But the sanction is still on there. Obama tried to lift the sanction on Cuba so that the United States government will engage with Cuba that is just right next door to us in our backyard. So we don't know whether other people can be using Cuba as a means of coming into to stock arms. And
we start doing trade with them and all that. With Cubans, they now have cell phones. They're allowed to have certain type of internet and this and that too. Yeah. Now they're allowed to now due to talking with them and everything else, allowing the people to have it. Excuse me. But now the government wanted to crack down on it and everything else because the whole regime is
no.
Yes,
it
is.
I want to disagree with you.
You talk to the people why they're fleeing.
Fidel Castro.
It's so great. Then why are the Cubans leaving Cuba to come to America? Why we're not leaving America? Go to Cuba.
But that's not just,
why don't we get on a raft and mow 90 miles to Cuba from Florida? Let's go.
It's not just America.
I want to see AOC do it. I want to see Bernie Sanders do it like the Cubans. Let's go.
It's not just Cubans coming to the United States. It's not just Cubans.
But why are they coming here though? Why are they coming here in America?
Because they want to see better life. Some of them want to.
Why though? Because they said they got better lives. Germany got better lives. China.
Germans come here. Chinese come here. Liberians come here. South Africans
Russians come here. But why?
Everybody.
Why? But they're so better at it, right? It's so great. They keep preaching
But it
this.
cannot just be Cuba and America.
Not just that. I'm just saying around the world. Why do they keep coming here?
Because they want a better life here.
I
They want
understand.
a better life here. And Cubans too want to get the same better life. Cubans would have improved their situation if we're not imposing this unnecessary sanction on Cuba. All the sanctions that we're putting on Cuba is trying to put pressure on the government and incite the people against the government. We try to incite the citizens of Cuba against the government.
Okay.
That's what we try to do
Okay,
with the
there's a
sanction.
video out there. You literally see people, citizens of Cubans, out there protesting and cops protesting against the government. So you're telling me that even the law enforcement is tired of the government. So what's the deal? You're saying it's due to us? Nothing wrong with the government or what?
The government get problems. I agree the Cuban government gets some problems. But
Some?
Yeah, some. But the most problem is coming from the United States. Let me say this. I was listening to BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. I listened to a story. And the gentleman said that said, Tony Blinken, the United States Secretary of State, he was saying, the people are, speaking out against for the rights in Cuba and all the kind of thing, and the Cuban government is trying to blame the United States. And there was another guy on the air and said the United States government imposed sanctions on Cuba so that the people can be suffering in Cuba, and then the people will rise up against the Cuban government. And that's exactly the truth. If you impose sanctions on Cuba, you deprive them of the resources they need to get. And everything
It's been like that for years. So now that they finally burst, they finally had enough and rise up against the government due to us.
It's been happening all the time.
So now all of a sudden they said we had enough, let's go. What's the difference?
The difference there is you try to.
They want freedom. They went to the Cuban embassy in D.C. Spray painted on their street. Cuban liberty. Cuban liberty. And know what DC did? They cleaned it up so it was unlawful and everything else. But yet they allowed for BLM to do it for Black Lives Matter, but they couldn't do it for the Cubans? What's up with that? You literally got Black Lives Matter organization praising and back the Communist Party. They back up the Communist Party. BLM. They did.
Yeah, but yes, I don't.
And the Cubans are mad.
No, the Cubans in Florida are most of the people that fled from.
The reason they don't want them here in the United States is this, because they told them on national TV, you can cross the sea, you ain't welcome. You're not welcome to the United States. But because they have a record of doing this, they leave Communist Party, come here, work hard, make a good living, all that and this and that. And they vote Republican, conservative, because they don't want to go to communism. No, they've been through that. What? But they allow everyone else comes in through the south border, but not Cubans.
But Trump was just in power and Trump imposed sanctions on Cuba. Trump imposed sanctions on Cuba. When Obama tried to lift the sanctions on Cuba, Trump came. Obama philosophy, which of course I agree with, not because of he being a Democrat, and I'm not a Democrat, but the thing is we got to engage with Cuba that is just 90 kilometers away from the United States, from the shores of the United States. Engage with them so that 90 miles. So we engage with them so that we can have not a hostile government right next door.
Did you tell me this? You tell me this. Then why is Iran, China, and Russia telling Biden to back off of Cuba? Don't do nothing in Cuba. And he's doing anything they said because he's not all there. But to me is this. If I was them, I'd tell Russia, China, and Iran, this is the Caribbeans, it's in our territory, you have no authority, you have nothing, you have no say in the matter, so therefore you have no jurisdiction, anything, so it does not concern you.
No.
It does concern them because it's the way getting into America.
No, America is giving Russia and other people stake in Cuba. The reason is, those people are coming with assistance to Cuba. You're depriving Cubans of the necessary assistance they need to improve their living situation. But so if somebody comes in
like they did Venezuela, they bring socialism, Communist China and Russia help out Venezuela. Now look at them. It's utopia. Look at them. They have all the food they want. They're even eating their cats. Oh, man. Oh! It worked out, doesn't it?
No. But the thing about Cuba, America is responsible for the situation in Cuba, and I still believe America has done a lot of evil things around the world, encourage people, train people,
I mean, the government does shady
subversive
shit.
activities.
The government,
Look,
the government does
right
crappy
now.
stuff. But guess what, though? Like you said, we need to work with them. We need that to bring them into into democracy. You know what? Because communism has not worked.
Not bring them into democracy. Not bring them into democracy. You got to
violate their freedom of speech, violate their rights and everything else.
Freedom.
They're literally saying they wish they had the Second Amendment.
Freedom according to who yardstick. Freedom according to who measurement. Is it freedom
according
to
the
United States measurement?
It's something that you can fight for, and they're fighting. They're fighting now in protest and all that to be peaceful as possible. But if they had, and that's the thing though, freedom's not free. All right, you gotta give and everything else.
But that's why I tell you about Libya, right? Libya, I'm interested in Libya because Libya is in Africa, and I'm originally from Africa. I'm interested in Libya, and I'm so disgusted with the United States preaching this so-called democracy and freedom, and the freedom of the people. At the end of the day, Libya is in complete chaos. All of the good things that the Gaddafi has worked for over the years, Libya is in a complete disaster because of the United States. Obama and the NATO people went there and bombed into Libya.
Oh, the UN? You mean the UN came there and helped?
No.
That's your mistake.
They bombed into the country. They brought the government down. Now Libya is in a complete chaos.
See, the first thing is...
So what freedom they're talking about?
Your first big mistake there is adding the UN involved. NATO.
No.
And all that. That's your first mistake because they never stop any slaughtering or anything else. They're supposed to be key force. They don't. They make it worse.
I'm not trying to blame NATO. I'm trying to blame NATO. NATO is definitely not. NATO, the North Treaty Organization, they went in that place and bombed the whole country continuously. Let's say dismantled the Libyan army and gave the rebels the opportunity to go and topple the government. Now Libya is a complete chaos. Since that time, 2011 to now, maybe 2011, I don't know.
How you think we did in the Middle East with ISIS? How do you think we did that? We helped them take over their rival Taliban.
But that's the reason.
Then they rised up.
That's the reason I don't want to listen to anything the United States government is saying as it relates to Cuba.
Well, because
the fact that they are
though.
about to cause confusion in Cuba.
That's the thing,
and have people running all over the place, complete disaster, chaos all over the place. At the end of the day, people be coming to the United States.
Yeah, is this. Around the world, you basically grew up to trust the government, trust the government. Here in America, you don't trust the government. That's how a lot of people do. We don't trust the government. So that's why they're mad about the vaccines, trying to push vaccines and all this and that. They want to go to door and give you vaccines because we don't trust them. I don't trust them. You never trust the government, right? It's Ronald Reagan's famous saying. He say a couple words you fear of or you ever hear of. It says, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. And how many times do you hear that? All the time around the world. And look how it turns out. Crappy. They don't help.
But my point here is, and that's where the contradiction comes in. You want to say Cuba should get freedom, democracy, and stuff like that, so that the people can do their own thing. Now you have the government, you have people who are in the democratic country. They are not even obeying, they're not even following what the government is saying. Take the vaccine, it's safe. Nobody wants to do that. And what have you? Now you want to go to Cuba and tell them how to live their lives, how to implement democracy. Free. The democracy in Cuba is not. It can't be by the measure of the United States or by Great Britain. The people have to get their own democracy or their own way of life based on their own culture and tradition. But when you try to engineer, the American government is trying to engineer or protest in that country, then they use that as a canopy to overthrow the government of Cuba and cause confusion in that country. We saw that in Libya and we saw that in Iraq. What happened when they overthrew Saddam Hussein? Iraq degenerated into chaos for years. We can't see that in Cuba. The Cuban government is doing its level back. The United States has to get away or get out of Cuba and help the Cuban government lift the sanction on Cuba so that people can solve their own problems. I don't think it is the United States.
They're solving it now. They're solving it because they are. They're arresting people. They're making people disappear, and they talk to internet, and there's no press there. But they have rights there, right? So what do you mean? You take away the people's rights? It wants peace, right? Why not? Why not? I don't care about your right. I'm a communist. I do what I want.
But let me say this. Let me say this and say this the last thing. America should not cause any confusion in Cuba. America should not cause, because we don't know
They're
whether
catering to Cuba.
Whether that is going to
They're
come back.
catering to Cuba. They're trying to keep Cuba in power, the communist power. They're trying to keep them. That's why they're blaming on COVID and everything else. That's why you see all these protests from Cubans who fled there. Their generations fled there due to communism. We don't want communism. We want democracy. That's why I love America. I'm born and raised in America. I'm American. I love the freedom I have and stuff like that. That's why you hear these Cubans here talking about it. But yet they're saying due to COVID, using this COVID as a scapegoat. That's what the media and the government saying. The U.S. government. What do you mean? If the government really wants to throw it down, like you said, then why not just say it's time for the people to rise up and stop with the communist regime? It's time for them to have democracy. Rise up, protest, fight for your rights. That's all America has to say. And it backs up your claim. It backs up your claim. Now they're saying due to COVID, we must get vaccines. There's nothing to worry about the protest. The protest is due to the COVID situation. And the people are there saying, no, we want liberty. They're saying liberty in Spanish. They're saying it. So how's that got to do with COVID? They want liberty.
You know, look.
See, that's what I'm trying to get at with you. You're trying to blame it.
The thing that is, I'm blaming the United States government for engineering this protest in Cuba. I don't care what you do, and I don't care how you look at it. The United States government have engineered a lot of protests, a lot of confusion, a lot of war, supported a lot of subversive activities around the world, lead to the demise of a lot of good people, good leaders. At the end of the day, those same people come back and hunt the United States. Look at typical thing of Osama bin Laden. Trained by the United States. At the end of the day, he came across a lot of confusion in this country. We have to first of all look at ourselves. Trump said it. He said, do you want to tell me America is clean too? You blame everybody? In Cuba, America is the root cause of all of the problems in Cuba. First of all, they supported
the government.
They supported. Yeah, I'm talking
about
the government.
It's always been their government. It's not about us as a blame game. They're blaming us for it. No, it's the people and everything else. Is how they run things, and they don't want that. They want freedom and everything else.
But don't do freedom by who measurement? Freedom by the United States measurement. America always said freedom, and it should be by their liking, the way they want it to be done. And at the end of the day, they cause a lot of problems. Leave the problem there and just pack up and leave. They want to Libya. They cause a lot of confusion under Obama. They cause a lot of confusion. Kill the country economy. At the end of the day, they left the country. Today, the country is still burning. America is the root cause of most of the problems around the world.
You think other countries not? You think China ain't involved? Russia ain't involved? Other countries involved?
Is the chief in causing confusion around the world. Until we can change our way of doing things.
Oh, so what are the reasons the China, South China Sea is confusing because of us, or is China?
No,
the problem with Ukraine going on. Who's getting that? Civil unrest there. Is it us or Russia? Who's backing up the pro-Russians there? The Russians, not us. So you can't blame everything on us. Everyone else is involved. They're playing way dirtier than we are. So guess what? We have to play ball. But I'm just saying, it's up to the people. If they want freedom, that's them.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every problem around the world is caused by the United States of America. I'm saying that the United States of America have engineered a lot of things, subversive activities, sponsor. Look, I can go down a laundry list among countries in Africa. Go to Sudan, go to Angola, go to even the Somalia we're talking about. Supporting people, supporting groups with arms and money, even going through NGOs. To spy on other government and people to rise up.
See,
all of these things, at the end of the day, they cause big confusion around the world.
Exactly.
Back up, leave the country in chaos. At the end of the day,
here's the solution.
This and that. No.
The problem is with other countries. With Cuba. Yeah, every other country, like you said, the problem with democracy and everything else, they do not have check and balances.
Who don't have check and balances?
Other countries, how they do democracy.
Because you want to impose democracy on other people.
Listen, the reason is when they overthrow, let's do democracy and everything else. Let's set our own constitution, our own thing, and they set it up where it's almost one party rule type of deal. Like here, it's different. We got a lot of check and balances here and stuff. How we do justice and everything else, and all that. Ours is almost being threatened and taken away if they get rid of the filibuster and they pack the Supreme Court. But that's a different story.
But I had nothing to do with Cuba. It has nothing to do with Cuba, right?
No, I'm just going off, like you said, Libya and stuff like that. You said there's a lot of corruption and everything else. There's a lot of them set in power where they can be emboldened and do more than once. I mean, like Haiti. He canceled the election due to COVID situation, and a lot of people got upset about that. And he spent it till the next. Till he gets to the next election. So basically he's in there for another term and stuff like that happened. And people felt like it's going against their constitution, their rights and everything. Haiti's a big mess due to that and everything else. Like here, it's different. Like you can't have Trump, Biden, Obama say, I'm going to stay for a third term. You can't, according to the Constitution, you cannot. Well, I'm just going to do it
but
anyway.
Trump would have almost stayed for the single term.
So you got everything set up in power where it can be challenged, and the Supreme Court will look at it and say it's unconstitutional here. No, you cannot run for a third term. You must have an election by stating in the Constitution how it's worded and everything else. We got check and balance. Other countries do not have check and balance, so therefore it's not emboldened. Stuff like that. That's the reason why we, the people, run the state. The state basically tells the government what we want to run and everything else.
I agree, but I'm not trying to say every problem in this country.
So the problem is not completely Americans' fault. It's up to the countries to how they do democracy.
But then you
and
leave
else.
them alone. Leave them alone. Don't impose your way of life on other people.
We did that. We did that with China. Look how's that working out with the Falun Gong and the Uyghurs. They're making good slave labor, don't they?
Yeah, but the problem there is you got to understand with Cuba is leave Cubans to build their own democracy. Let it be gradual. Let it be based on their own cultural orientation. Let the democracy don't be imposed on them as the way America understands democracy. That's how it should happen in Cuba.
If they ask America after, let's say, they want to build their own democracy and everything else, and if they ask America, can you help us make check and balance? Make sure that therefore this will never happen again. Yes, I'd be happy to go there and be like, you need to do this, this, and this. In case this happens, you have to go through this. You have the right to do this, that, everything else to limit the power.
But who told you that they don't have a system to do that?
Huh?
Who told you they don't have a system of check and balance? But we want it to be done by our standards. That's the problem.
I understand.
No,
I don't.
That's our standard. Our freedom of press, our freedom of speech should be based on how we understand the United States. It can't be. Everybody get their own cultural upbringing, and their freedom of speech is different from ours. So we got to understand it from their perspective. If we want to impose democracy, look at Libya.
Look how they imposed the UK. Because during the British, right, when we were part of the British, you couldn't say nothing. And they say, no, I'm entitled to say what I want. And then that's what they fought for and everything else. We fought the British twice. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right, 1812, down in New Orleans, yeah. It was a great battle down there and all that. Because after we became established, the UK did not didn't recognize us as a sovereign country. So therefore they kept taking our ships, our merchant, and forcing them into labor and stuff like that, into slave labor and all that. And therefore the United States saying, well, we're tired of this, let's go to war. And we're getting our ass beat there too, and we won that one too, twice. So, and all that. But I'm just saying, it's up to them. If the people want freedom of speech, they're entitled to. That's the reason why we could tell the government how we run and everything else. Like me, I said, Biden's not a legitimate president. They can bust down the door, beat the crap out of me, and send me to goulash.
Well,
make me disappear.
That's some of the freedom you have in the United States. That's some of the freedom you have in the United States.
Yeah.
To say what you want to say. You had a right to say Biden now.
Not now, though, because they want to take away misinformation. They want to work with private company and everything else, take away misinformation, like Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, but we don't want Facebook and YouTube to be disseminating false information and to try to,
That's freedom of speech. You can
tell. You gotta be responsible in freedom of speech. You can't say because of freedom of speech.
Yeah, you can be responsible.
You gotta yell fire in the theater, in the movie theater,
You can't. You still can. But if people get killed because of it, yeah, you get penalized for causes like that. But if it's legit fire in the theater and I can't see a fire because of that,
no.
So I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. So therefore, people gotta be responsible. But misinformation is this. It's up to. I think it's misinformation. You can tell me the sky is blue. To me, it's green. I'm going to say no. You're wrong. Completely wrong.
No.
I'm not gonna push it out.
I agree. But when you know the thing is factually wrong,
but you're entitled to it. You're entitled to it.
But you should recognize. No, you should recognize. Like you look Nancy Pelosi video. Where you know one of the videos, the author, they know she was not drunk. Somebody altered the video, and you as Facebook know that it was altered to preach a false narrative against her, or somebody put Trump picture or Trump said something that they know is factually wrong. And
some good people on both sides.
No, I say if they know it's factually wrong,
they didn't play the whole video.
Say you got freedom of speech, you try to disseminate information.
But they do that for the media. They make edits and cuts to make the one person look bad. They do that all the time. They don't show full videos. Right, like the one in Texas, the governor there with the people from D.C., people from Democrat Texas left to go to D.C., right, to not vote. So they don't have enough people to vote on the bill. So he said, I'm going to keep calling a mercy session, right, and till the next election, if possible, to get this bill passed. Eventually, if they stay out there long enough and everything else. But he said, if they get to Texas, I'm going to have them arrested. And the media cut it off right there and there. Just arrested. But no, he said this. You watch the whole video of him saying, I'm going to have them arrested and bring in so we can vote this bill.
But why that doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to arrest somebody to have them to come vote?
They do that.
It makes no sense.
Democrats do that too.
If the man doesn't want to vote, it's up to him.
But they have to report and produce. They have to come in and do their job. They can vote no, but they have to be there and vote. But they choose not to show. They all left. So they're not doing their job for the people.
I understand, but American policy on Cuba have been wrong yesterday. It have been wrong today and will be wrong tomorrow until they can agree to lift the sanction and work responsibly with the Cuban government and address those problems that they have in Cuba. Instead of they wanted to impose sanctions and do their own.
We lift the sanctions. Okay, we did what you want, right?
It's not got to be abrupt. We got to lift it with preconditions. What are the issues?
Okay, what preconditions? They allow shipping, get goods from other countries, like trade. Mm-hmm. Okay, we do that. We lift trade. Next thing you know, how did Cubans get missiles and rockets, nukes aiming towards the U.S.? Naming for, let's say, D.C., New York, California, Florida, Texas. No. How this happened? They didn't have nuclear capability, but for some reason they got nukes now. Well, they had shipment come in for grain, but they smuggle shit in. Now we're in dire threat of Red Dawn.
If we should lift sanctions on Cuba, and we have a working relationship with them, we set up preconditions, or not preconditions, or set up guidelines. Look, this is the condition on which we're going to lift sanctions. We'll have insight. Everything that coming into the country, we got to know what happened. We don't want any Russian influence or how to call it, say Iran coming with all subversive activities and stuff like that. Training access group and other kind of thing. We got to set up parameters through which we operate. But for us to close the country down, it's going to make people to use the back door and come into Cuba and put missiles right at our backyard, and we're not going to know what's happening. The right thing we can do is to open up our borders, not open our borders, but open up to Cuba. So we have interaction. We have civilized conversation on the issues.
They got embassy in D.C. We're talking to them.
But I think they closed the embassy. Obama opened the embassy in.
They still got it.
They still open it. Okay, that's the first step.
We still got it. The same thing. We don't have a North Korean embassy. We do not have it here. You got to go to South Korea embassy in South Korea to get the North Korean or China, whatever country, and talk to the embassy there to able to set up meeting with North Korea.
But let me end on this note. America is responsible for Cuba's current situation. America is engineering the protest, just as they did in the Arab Spring. In Africa, I always go back to Africa. The engineer a protest in Egypt. They toppled one government and they brought another dictator. They went to Libya. They caused confusion in Libya. Libya is today in chaos. They overthrew a lot of government. Even in Sudan, the Sudanese government was not a good government anyway, but they toppled that government through the protest, and they get a lot of bunch of generals and a whole lot of faction in Sudan. America should engage with Cuba. They should lift the sanction on Cuba. They should set the parameters for negotiation, and they should stop. They should stop engineering the people to violence. In Cuba. That's my final word.
You're saying that we're need to engage. We're already engaging, right? They're causing problems, causing all these problems in Cuba. So we're already engaging. So what more can you want us to do?
You got to engage in a civilized manner. Don't be engaging and then you undermine it.
How can you engage?
You supporting the protest.
How can you engage? No. Listen. How can you engage into a country they want nothing to do with you?
No,
but the people want to do something with you.
No.
But that the government does not want to do nothing itself.
The Cuban government really want to be friends with the United States. They really do. They really do, sincerely do. But the whole thing, America set a lot of preconditions before even they go to the negotiation table. You can't do that. First of all, you got to engage with the German. You got to engage with the government, and then you guys can work all your differences.
So you telling me the people protesting there are getting disappeared, getting killed?
That is unfortunate.
And you think they should stop?
If the government is doing that,
you think they should stop or keep fighting?
No, the government should. If the government is doing that, I don't have any factual information as it relates to that. But if the government is doing that,
the people coming here are telling them that.
But the people have been coming here, been saying a lot of things that were not true.
You mean true?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people leave other countries, come here, and they say a lot of things that are not true. Because we listen to the media propaganda on the issue. We don't have our embassy on the ground or our people on the ground to authenticate the information. As a result, we listen to people who come in freely for their own reasons, and then we listen to what they say. And we form our opinion based on that. Okay. We need to have our embassy in Cuba, Havana, and other places. I know they have it, but they have to make sure that they can engage with the Cuban government in a civilized manner, not hostilely or through a hostile environment. Why you support it? Why you working with the government? Then you are doing something on them, engineering protests, funding the protests, giving them money and.
But you tell me this: the people entitled to protest, right?
They're entitled to do that.
So why we need to tell them to protest if they're protesting now?
Because you're funding them, you're giving them money.
Give them money?
Yeah, to engineer.
They don't take our currency. They don't accept American currency.
Well,
you
give them funding, you give the organization.
How you give them funding?
You give them funding through many means. America is a very hypocritical country. A lot of the government is hypocritical. They say one thing here, and then on the ground they do another thing. American government have been in the past and present, and today have been hypocritical. They have done a lot of dubious stuff around the world, which they, at the end of the day, people get angry with them. I agree that American people are very good people. They want to do the right thing, but sometimes the governments have done a lot of bad things around the world. A lot of bad things. We are talking about Libya situation. I'm not saying that Gaddafi was Jesus Christ or Muhammad or a very good guy. He has his own flaws. But the United States government bringing him down and need to bring him down has caused most problems in Africa. And they caused a lot of problems, now causing a lot of problems in Europe. And who know how long this conflict in Libya is going to last and end? All because the Americans and other people have engineered. Why would you support the guy to go back, who was living in the United States, go back home and arm him to go fight against the government? If somebody does that, if a country, let's say my country, Liberia, look for American citizens and give him arm and come to fight, what do you think they're going to do to Liberia?
We do that plenty of times. A lot of people volunteer for that around the world.
So
now, a lot of them do that. You didn't know that. You didn't know that a lot of Americans go around and fight wars what they believe in. Yeah, there's one who a couple years back I watched. He spoke their language, he believed in their belief and all that, and he's real godly man and all that, and you see him out there walking with a rifle and all that. And he said a lot of people ain't helping them because they got a big civil unrest. America, no other country's going to help them, so I'll volunteer to help because I believe what's right, what's wrong, and I believe in their culture. I love these people and everything else. And he fought with them and stuff, fighting with them. I mean, I pray to God that he's still alive and okay. But but I'm just saying though, if people go to fight what they believe in. Yeah, you're in a country where you can do whatever. If you want to go fight a war, we can't stop you.
But that's why democracy is at the precipice.
See, the problem is with our government is this: our government wants to put the thumb down and say, no, you cannot. No, you can't. No. And they know this. A lot of them, they bark loud orders, and we do not listen because, know why? Because we're in America, I don't have to do what you say. I don't have to. And that's why a lot of them are mad in politics because they have no full authority. Like Cubans, China, Russia, and stuff like that. Like Bernie Sanders loved because he said that because
why are you always talking about Bernie Sanders about you come to Cuba
and AOC and all them, they talk about the big old thing, but now they're quiet. They are quiet about this. They don't want to talk about Cuba because it makes them like hypocrites. Like you praise this and that on the campaign, and it's terrible. And a lot of Cubans keep telling the people on the left, saying, "Then go live to Cuba. Go live in China. Go live in this socialist paradise you speak of. Go there and live there. Live there for a month and tell me how it is." I bet you we'll quit to come back and kiss American soil. I'm glad to be American.
Look, America is a great country. We enjoy the freedom here and what have you. My own thing here is let's work with other countries. Instead of imposing our ways on them, let's work with other countries so that they can open the system. But our democracy, we appreciate, should deliver the goods for the people. It should not just be democracy so that somebody can show a certificate that, we have elections. The man won. The election was free and fair. But then the basic social services are not provided.
We do not.
If democracy don't provide social services for the people, at the end of the day, people get angry and start to rise against the government. At the end of the day, we say democracy is not good.
We really do not really force them how to make their democracy. They make it on their own. Like I said, check and balances. They do not do that. Only country that really did well, that we really kind of really forced back then was Japan. Forced their own constitution, everything else. After we defeated them in the war, dropped the atom bomb and everything else. This and that, and that's a whole new story. How we were in a tough situation back then with the President of the United States had no choice but to drop the bomb to save future lives of American and Japan and future American lives of fighting in Japan war because it was slowly becoming like a stalemate, and he figured just drop it to end it, and we dropped both of them, and it was devastating, and we were sorry for, afterwards, people dying from radiation and all that, but it was war, it was shitty, and that's the first time we ever dropped bombs like that. Now, for us to drop a bomb, it's a lot of check and balances. Like for that, like the president can't just order a nuke and takes off. You gotta get a couple people with the keys to turn it and everything else where they're at. The people in silo, missile silo too. I seen a demonstration video on that one. It was cool how they show it. They said 2 people go look at codes. If it matches, it's legit. They did practice one was false and everything else, and they said basically is this: it's up to you now, your conscience, to put the coordinates in, and when you turn that key, hit that button, and that's it. Even though the president and the generals order you to strike, it's up to you, civilian, who's in there, don't know what's going on, must choose to fire that missile or not. See, that's the point of check and balances. So, all right, we're at the 49 mark.
Yeah, my final thought is engage with Cuba. Don't engineer protests. Don't support the protests.
Don't support
the protest. If they want to do it, let them protest.
They are doing it.
The Cuban government should not kill or imprison people and stuff like that.
And cut the internet.
The American government should not spend money to engineer the protests against the government. Because when we get any confusion in Cuba, like the way we get in Libya or the way we get in Iraq, it's going to be trouble for us. So we have to be careful with the situation in Cuba.
Right, that's your final word. That's your thought. Me, 100% support the protests. The people must rise up. and I want everyone to have freedoms like how we have here and all that. I mean, it's, you know, it just needs to be like that around the world because communism system does not work. It never did, you know. And it sounds good in theory. That's always a theory, but when put into practice, it's terrible, right? And and that's the point we have the show because, you know, you said your point of view, I said mine, and we respect each other. Yeah. We ain't gonna kill each other over that. We stand what we stand on, right, and everything else. Yo, John, but I support the protest 100%.
No, I support the protest.
But you said
the United States government should not be the architect, the planners, and the funders of protests.
Never ask our government.
Just to bring down the government of
Never Cuba. Ask our government. Our government involved in stuff never works. Any government involved never works.
But the United States government involved in a lot of things.
Any government in the world never worked involved in situations like this and that. It's up to the people. That's how this country was started. By the people got together and they came up with this. We had no government back then. We made the government. Yeah. We decide this is what the laws, the Constitution, what it is, and everything else, this and that, the Bill of Rights, and everything else, the freedoms we got. Because the people got involved. It's up to the people to get together and come up how they want the country run. All right? Don't ask our government how to run because they're going to, you know, we're in a fighting match here as it is now. So, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice having this talk with you.
Guys, we'll be back again for our final segment. How we call the final segment? You said?
No, we're gonna try to do a segment online, off the cuff. I like to call it.
If you're watching us on Facebook
or YouTube,
just
comment. Basically,
send us a question. We'll answer it.
Yeah, basically give us a question online, and we will go over it. And we do a video on it, and it's going to be off the cuff top of how we both feel about it and stuff like that, and get a certain point of view. Like, hey, you know, I got a question. What's your opinion on, let's say, state and federal affairs and people's rights, or certain governments, this and that, and we give you both our opinions, how we feel about it, and be off the cuff, basically. Like, it's going to be like top of the knot, you know, off our heads, how we feel about it. And you can see how our different point of views, and he came out swinging today when I hit that topic. I like it. Keep it up. Let's engage more.
We want you guys to, comment. If you want to come on the show with us, we get this as a community YouTube channel. So if you want to come, just, reach out to us, and John and myself will reach out to you and invite you on our show. If you can't make it, we can do it through Zoom. So yeah, that's fine. That's it for the day. Subscribe to our channel. Go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
Might be some more videos there on YouTube too. So it's
subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you when we see you.